Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than my usual. My channel actually kind of started out this way and I've had some requests to go back and do some baby name videos. So I'm going to be doing some unique girl baby names, and then I also will be doing a unique boys baby name list at a later time. But if you're new to my channel, then my name is Anna and I post a lot of like mom videos, lifestyle, cleaning, just the average content that you see other mommy vloggers post. So hi if you are new, and if you're not new, then welcome back to my channel and thank you for coming back to watch this video. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and get started. It is hotter than Hades up here. I'm in my upper level. And I feel like I'm actually kind of starting to sweat, and I think it's because the summer weather has probably officially hit now. I hope so. I'm sick of being cold, but at the same time I know that I'm still going to complain that it's too hot, but I'm not sure how I got on the weather talk, so let's go ahead and just get into the video. So when I say unique names, I mean names that aren't super high on the baby name list, and I also mean names that might be a little bit higher up, but I don't hear them all the time where I live. And for like a place reference, I do live in the Midwest, so these names might actually be more popular where you're from. So when I'm saying it's unique, I mean to me it's like more of my area that I'm referring to. So I'm just going to go ahead and start now. And the first name that I have on my list, I'm kind of biased towards, but it is the name Winnie. And obviously, if you're new, you don't know that I have a daughter named Winslet, and I do call her Winnie sometimes. Mostly I call her Winnipeg. I'm not sure how that happened. It just kind of just organically came out as being a nickname for her. And I like the name Winnie by itself. I'm not really sure why I didn't just choose that for her name. I'm not sure that I ever honestly thought about it, but I first heard the name Winnie used as a real first name in the movie, I think it's called Tuck Everlasting, and it was Alexis Bledel from Gilmore Girls. It was her character, and I think the name Winnie just sounds very innocent, very sweet, like a very young, naive type of girl, and I just love the name. I love that I can call Winslet Winnie, and I'm obsessed with this name on its own. I think that it can stand alone 100%, so highly recommend Winnie. I just think it's so beautiful. The next name is the name Clark, and I actually have mentioned this before, I think in a Q&A, as a boy's name. I love the name Clark for boys. I think it's just so handsome. I think of like Superman, obviously Clark Kent, but my mom is actually writing a book, and we were talking about naming her female character, and we actually ended up changing the character's name for her book. And she recommended Clark, and I'm like, yeah, but isn't Clark kind of, more masculine? And she was like, no, I think I like Clark for a female. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, oh, that does sound really cute, like a unisex name of Clark. And I'm not sure if she's going to add the E to the end of it or not, but I actually do really like this. You have names like Baker and Miller, very strong, coming up, that are being used for both female and male. So why not Clark too? I think Clark is beautiful for either, but even for a girl. The next name is actually the name of a friend of mine / my podcast co-host partner. She is named Tyrion, and I love her name. When I first met her, I actually thought that was her daughter's name because I had never heard of it, and I thought it sounded more like a new up-and-coming name, but no, it's actually her first name. Camera died. Story of my life. Every video I do, that's a sit down video, my camera dies. Oh my goodness. But yes, so her name is Tyrion, and I've never met someone named Tyrion before. I've never heard of anyone named that name. I'm sure people are obviously named this, and I'm not sure if the spelling that she uses or her mom used for her is the actual spelling, if it's different, but I love the name Tyrion. I just think it sounds beautiful and like very like a classy girl, and Tyrion is very, very pretty. She has long blonde hair and blue eyes, so she definitely just fits what I think of as being a Tyrion. So I love that name, and I think you can't go wrong with it. I just think it's beautiful and it's different, but it's not super weird. The next name is the name Calliope, and I love this name. I heard this name on the Rodgers and Hammerstein's version of Cinderella that had Brandy as Cinderella. Whoopi Goldberg was also in it as the prince's mom. I really enjoyed that version of Cinderella, and one of the stepsisters' names was Calliope. The only reason why I would never personally use this if I was like renaming one of my kids and was going to go with that name is because I feel like people would say Calliope because they wouldn't really understand that it was Calliope. which is very unfortunate because I love the name Calliope. It kind of gives a twist on if you want the name Callie for a nickname. I love this name. I honestly wouldn't use it because I just didn't want to have to correct anyone because of it, but hopefully one of you is brave enough to use this name because I think it's beautiful. I think once you corrected people a few times, it would be totally fine. But Calliope, it just sounds really sassy and like she have a little bit of an attitude to her, but I just love this name. The next name I'm obsessed with. I've loved this name for years. Couldn't use it because we already have a P name and I didn't want these two names to ever be linked back to the TV show Charmed, but it is the name Prue. I like Prue by itself. I don't want a Prudence. I just don't like the prude beginning of Prudence, but I love the name Prue. P-R-U-E is the way that I would spell it because if someone asked how to spell it, I would just be like True with a P. And I just love that this name is super, super simple. And it just sounds like a very elegant name, but very easy and very catchy. And I've never met someone named Prue in my entire life. But I think one subscriber has a daughter named Prue. I think someone before has commented that they have a daughter named this name. And I love it so, so much. But obviously having Paige on the show Charmed, Paige and Prue were sisters. And I just didn't really want that connection, even though not everyone's seen the show Charmed, but I just figured having two P names and then the rest of the kids not having the letter P or names that went with those, it wouldn't sound right. But I love Prue and I'm jealous of the one of you that are subscribed that has a daughter named Prue. I just think it is so beautiful. The next name is the name Thea. I heard this name on the show Arrow and I love it. Actually, the actress that plays Thea, her name is Willa Holland, and both of those names you guys know were contenders for Winslet's name. The top three names for Winslet was Winslet, Willa, and Holland, which is so funny. But I love the name Thea, who Willa Holland plays on Arrow. I know that Thea is more of an up-and-coming name, I think largely in part to the show and the success of the show. But I don't think it's too late to kind of jump in there and name a baby this before it becomes too popular. I just love the way it sounds. No one's going to misspell it. I mean, Thea. It just kind of comes off the tongue. It sounds super short, super sweet. I just imagine like a really cute, sweet girl with like a little bit of spice to her. So I definitely love this name. The next name is the name Elowen, and I do have a subscriber named this. I actually commented back to her recently in a comment that she wrote about her name. I love the name Elowen. It was on the list, I think, for Aniston's middle name way back then. I heard it on one of those like Facebook, like unique name lists or whatever. And I love the name Elowen. You could go with Ellie, or even like the Win part, you go with Winnie. So you could go with Elowen and call her Winnie, which I love. If one of you has an Elowen, please call her Winnie, because I think that's so beautiful. Eleanor is becoming extremely popular right now. It is really, really high up there on the list. And I know why, because it's so beautiful, so traditional and classic, and it never goes out of style. But Elowen is so beautiful and so underused in my opinion. I love, love, love this name. I can't say many good things about it. Like Elowen's one of those names that if I didn't have middle names for our girls or for the older two girls, I would definitely consider using it for a first name. I love it. Okay, 3 more names, and this name I'm obsessed with. It is the name Drew. When I first found out I was pregnant and one of them was a girl, Drew had always been in my mind, in the back of my mind. And I've always loved this name. I don't feel like it went with Aniston and Paige because those names are very feminine names. And I think throwing in a Drew, people would automatically assume that we had 2 girls and a boy. So I didn't want to just kind of throw one baby girl with a super masculine name and then have the other 2 not have that. So that's the only reason why I didn't push for it, but I love it, you guys. I'm obsessed with this name. If I just had a baby girl today with no other kids, I think Drew might be her name, like for real. I just love the way it sounds. Again, you're not going to misspell it. And obviously I associate it with Drew Barrymore, who I think is just a beautiful. And she really kind of just embodies that name, if that makes sense. So I just really, really love this name. Every name. I just love this name. But I do. I love all these names. This next name I actually found when I was kind of just looking up names for this list, just making sure that none of these names had like taken off in popularity. And I don't remember where I saw it. It was maybe on Nameberry. Sometimes they have like polls of which ones you like better, and it was on this and I'm like, wow, that's so beautiful. And it is the name Vivian. Now, Vivian, I've been hearing here and there. I don't think it's popular by any means. My friend Michelle here on YouTube just named one of her twin girls Vivian. I love it. I do think of Julia Roberts in, what's that movie called? Pretty Woman. Not that I associate it with her being a prostitute. I associate it with her being a good person and a beautiful girl. So I love the name Vivian. And like short for that, Viv. I think that's beautiful. But also Vivia. Vivia on its own could definitely stand alone. I think it sounds super sweet, super sassy. I just think of like a very overly gorgeous, like turn your head type of girl when I think of the name Vivia. So if you like the lines of like Viv and Vivian, but you're not sure if you actually want to commit, I highly recommend using Vivia. I've never met anyone named Vivia, but I think it is gorgeous. And the last thing that I have on my list that I love, that will probably be a little bit nostalgic for some of you if you were Disney Channel watchers like I was. I grew up in the time that Lizzie McGuire and Even Stevens and all that was really popular, so I remember all of those shows. But one name really sticks out to me from those shows, and it is the name Tawny. Tawny was the name of Shia LaBeouf's best friend on Even Stevens, and I honestly forgot about her completely. And then recently, Disney Channel had a live stream of some of the old episodes on YouTube. They actually live streamed a bunch of them. And I was like, oh yeah, her name is Tawny. And I love that name. I know that I've met a few in my lifetime, so I don't think it's unheard of these days. But that was the first time I ever heard that name, and I honestly love it. I think it actually is supposed to be a color. Maybe it's supposed to be the color brown, but I love it. Obviously, there's not really a nickname that you could really pair with it, but I don't think it really needs it. I think Tawny just sounds beautiful. It's just not someone that you're going to meet every single day named this name, so I highly recommend considering this one if you want a name that kind of has linkages to like the past and growing up. It just sounds very nostalgic to me because whenever I hear the name Tawny, I immediately go back to her as Shia LaBeouf's best friend on Even Stevens, and I love it. So that's going to be all for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy these names. If you have kids or a daughter or anyone named one of these names, I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. I would also love to just hear what your kids' names are in general. I love hearing other people's children's names because obviously everything is so diverse now. You know, everyone's kids have different names, and I just love hearing all about them. So let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!